try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep, move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
Welcome, 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 my fellow Americans. How is everybody doing? Been a crazy week. A lot of stuff going on, but please remember, hit that like button. It definitely helps. It'll help get this out there. Trying to slowly grow. Getting into this politics stuff and just anything going on in America. Man, how's everybody been doing? So much going on. Not sure where to start, but how about we start with VP Vance and his team delegation going to the space base in Greenland. Man, you're gonna have the Secretary of Energy, you have Senator Mike Lee, Representative Utah, Mike Waltz, U.S. National Security Advisor. Of course, the Vice President's wife is there as well. Up there talking about Greenland and how important it is to the U.S. to really get in there. If you look at Greenland where it is, it's literally, if we're down here, it's up above, and you go right on the other side of that, and Russia's right there. And obviously China and Russia have been doing everything in their possibility to expand, and Greenland is an important piece of land, and Donald Trump says Denmark has treated them unfairly, and apparently we just want to bring security and help the people of Greenland, and it would be better protection for the United States of America, better for the world, because we can't keep letting Russia and China expand undeterred, because eventually who knows what will happen. They're going to try to keep taking over, take. And if we can get Greenland on board, it gives our equipment. We'll see a rocket shot at us quicker. It's just a protection. Russia and China won't be able to advance and creep up on us anymore from that area. We get some icebreakers up in there. We can help develop another route, because some of them routes, if we can go up there with icebreakers and make these routes for these ships, I mean, it's going to save us a shit ton of money to ship stuff. And there's just a lot of things that go along with it. And it's not just trying to take over somewhere. It's just these people deserve to be protected, and Denmark hasn't really done their job. They haven't taken care of the people of Greenland, and Donald Trump really wants to make sure they're protected. And in that case, it helps us be protected as a nation. And that's pretty much it. We will jump in here. Let's see a quick snippet here with Vice President Vance. I think the press is asking him a question.
John Parkinson with ABC News. Thanks for bringing us along on this historic trip. I wanted to ask you about last week's news with the Atlantic. We've had a couple questions on Greenland. I feel like you've answered that. But I did want to ask, did you express your concerns to the president that you were opposed to the Houthi strike? And also, what did you mean when you asked, or when you said in that thread that the
Now, see, this is the problem. This is the problem with the press right here. President Vance and this team is up in Greenland and doing their thing up there. And the press has to bring up other stuff. And the press is trying to make, they're trying to make this signal gate issue with, they want somebody's head to roll. They want somebody's head to roll. Somebody deserves to be fired. This was a major mistake. But when it comes down to it and you look at the facts and you see what has happened, President Trump has safeguarded the Red Sea area there so that the Houthis won't keep attacking our ships. We can get our freedom of navigation to go. We can get our ships back through there. But every time we're going through there, we're getting fired at. In the last 4 years under the Biden administration, that's all we did. We played defense. Now President Trump's coming in. He said, yeah, nah. He's like, I don't. And even Biden took them off the terrorist list. How do you take people that are constantly attacking ships, terrorizing people off the terrorist list? It doesn't make any sense. The Biden administration doesn't make any sense. It hasn't made any sense. So Donald Trump, they're terrorists again. And now he is have multiple attacks on the Houthis, taking out top leaders and caches and all that stuff. And they're warning Iran because Iran backs the Houthis. And, pretty much Trump is telling them, like, this is not going to happen. And Iran, you're responsible for these people. So, the president has shown strong force. He's not going to let us get pushed around, and he's going to protect our best interests. And the fact that the media has to bring the whole signal gate up is absolutely ridiculous. There was nothing there. It was a conversation. If anything, the conversation showed that all the team members around Trump in his cabinet they float out all their ideas. It shows what they really think, and that's what's important. We're seeing transparency in the government for the first time ever, but the Democrats have nothing to grab onto. So as soon as there's the slightest mistake, that's all they can grab onto. So they're gonna use this and twist it for the next week, 2 weeks. Who knows? It's all they got. It's all the Democrats have. They don't have any credibility. They're losing credibility daily. And it's like a lot of these people should be locked up for what they're doing. A lot of these Democrats and left-wingists, they should be locked the fuck up. It's just the truth. And make an example of these people. But at the same time, they're acting fools. You know what? Keep acting a fool, because the American people, no matter how long it takes, eventually they're all going to come around. Everybody's going to come around. You Democrats going to be sitting there with your dick in your hand. You ain't going to have a goddamn thing, because nobody trusts you. Nobody believes you. Everything that comes out of the left Democratic side is bullshit. It's a lie. It's theater. There's no action. We literally watched a guy for 4 years sit behind a desk and accomplish zero. Accomplishments were so bad that he has auto pen signing major documents. Like, you're telling me you were that bad, that incoherent, that you couldn't sign documents yourself, pardons, these major documents. So dude can't even sign documents. Donald Trump is in the situation of every day. He's doing 10 different things a day. He's got 10 different agendas. He's trying to make America safe. He's trying to bring instructions to the U.S., especially in the auto market, which is thousands and thousands of jobs. And then you got Elon Musk, his buddy there, helping clean up the government, make the computer systems better, more efficient, make our government run more efficient. And all these Democrats can do is float these ignorant, stupid stories that, they're trying to take your Social Security. They're not trying to take your Social Security. They're trying to clean up the system, give it a better system so it runs quicker, easier, more efficient, and there's less time involved with the process, and get all the people that are not alive, or somebody who's collecting on somebody else's Social Security that's not alive, and stealing the taxpayer money. This is what this is about. It's about saving the taxpayers, the American taxpayers. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there, but fucking Democrats are driving me nuts.
The president wasn't aware that his directions for Yemen were inconsistent with his message on Europe.
Well, I didn't quite say that. I think that's a slight bit misunderstanding of what I said. But we've talked, of course, in the American media about Signalgate, as I called it, for the past week. And here's what I told the president and the entire national security team is that, yes, it is in the interest of the United States of America to preserve navigation. Yes, it is in the interest of the United States to kill terrorists who are preventing navigation in the Red Sea.
Thank you.
We've got to make sure that we do it right. We have to be careful. We have to make sure the timing is right. And of course, what that leak revealed, I think, is a private communication between the president's senior advisors about how best to prepare the American people for what we all thought we had to do, about the right timing of when we should do something, and
Right.
of course, surfacing the strategic questions that we needed to decide and brief the president on so that he could ultimately make the decision about what we would do. What I saw in that signal chat, and of course, what I've seen in the president's senior national security team, is that sometimes we all agree and sometimes we all disagree, but it's important that we all have an honest conversation amongst ourselves and with the President of the United States about what we think is the best interest of the national security of the United States of America. I support the President's decision to strike the Houthis. I always supported the President's decision to strike the Houthis, and I support the national security team having the argument about how best to serve the American people. Go ahead.
In your security briefing today, did you see specific?
Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. This is very important. If you watch this, it's the first time in a long time we've seen such transparency. And if you go back and watch interviews with Democrats, they always try to skirt around the question. JD Vance literally goes head on. It's the most genuine answer I think you could get. And it's not a big deal. Yes, it's a big deal. It shouldn't have happened. But the fact of the matter is nobody was hurt. The mission was a success. And we're safer today than we were the day before. And that's what's really important. Now, should somehow this sleazebag of a reporter, journalist, whatever, have been in the conversation and seen the stuff? Probably not. I mean, obviously, the guy's on the Biden side. He's on the Democrat side. And I feel like he's just trying to make some, like, they were called war plans. Oh, war plans were leaked. They're not war plans. It was simply a discussion with the cabinet about the situation, so everybody knows what's going on and was involved. And I don't think there was anything that was terribly secretive about what was in there. It didn't affect anything, but the Democrats have nothing, as I said, and they will dive on this shit. And it's sickening. It's sad. This is what they're clinging on to, but let them cling. It's not really important, I
threats
guess.
coming from China and Russia, things that you did not know about before? Are we talking battleships, icebreakers, any type of military equipment, or is it economic?
Well, I don't want to get too specific, but yes, we know that the Chinese are very, very interested in this island. We've seen some of the economic pressures that they've tried to place on Greenland. We know that they're increasingly engaging in military training and military interest. Certainly, they've started to describe themselves as a near Arctic power. I think part of that is justifying taking a further interest in Greenland and some of the surrounding territories. So we've seen very strong evidence that both the Chinese and the Russians are interested in Greenland. And why wouldn't they be interested in Greenland? It's a beautiful place. It has incredible people. Its geographic placement makes it very important for the national security of the United States, but for world security. What we have to recognize is that if the Chinese and the Russians are going to pursue their national interest, we need a president who's going to pursue the American national interest, and that means ensuring that Greenland is safe.
When can we expect an update on the internal investigation into that signal chat leak? Has that investigation concluded?
You see, it just keeps coming up. It's the reporters can't stick to the task. He can't stay on topic. It's they gotta make the signal chat, because like I said, it's the slightest mixed up. It was nothing bad came of it. Like I said, it wasn't good, but they take this little thing and they try to flip it and turn it into this thing that was so mischievous and negative, and they try to put their own little spin on things, and it's nonsense. And you want to hear the crazier part? You got Judge Bozeman, or Bosberg, I should say, the same judge who ordered Trump, as if he could do that, to turn the planes around when we had 261 Tren de Agua and MS-13 gang members that we were sending to El Salvador. The same judge has been picked to oversee this case with Signal. There shouldn't even be a case. Even Pam Bondi said this is nonsense. Nothing will come of it. They want heads to roll, but for what? No heads rolled when Biden tried to draw out from Afghanistan and left $80 billion worth of equipment behind, and 13 service members died. Did anybody pay for that? Did anybody even take any responsibility for that at all? Because all I've seen is anytime there is a problem or a mistake, President Trump and his cabinet and teammates have stayed together and they have been genuine. And then you get a little sneak peek at how they talk amongst yourselves during this signal chat. And it looks like what they're doing was what they're supposed to be doing, communicating about a situation, which so happened to be the Houthis and attacks. Man, I can't say I've never seen anything so transparent, and these Democrats still try to find anything to leech onto, which it's ridiculous. It's absolutely nonsensical. And, I'm proud and happy to see that our president and his team are so upfront with things, and they're transparent, and you don't have to worry as much about what's going on behind the scenes. And I've never seen it like this before. Like every time it's like, oh, we got a new president, and it was they don't tell you nothing. Oh, they just tell you what they want you to know, but behind the scenes they're doing this, that, the other. Well, this administration is literally showing you everything they're doing, every step they're taking. President Trump updates and talks to the press on a regular basis. JD Vance talks to the press they actually go to these places, to the border. You think Kamala actually took her fucking drunk ass to the border? Maybe to get some tequila. And that's about come on. These people, JD Vance and his team, Donald Trump and his team, they're all out there in the shit. They are putting the work in. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're serving the people. They're serving our country and what's best for us. And you Democratic extremist left-wing assholes need to get your shit together. And then another thing, did you see the thing about the NPR and PBS stuff? The CEO was questioned about, oh, did you say something about white supremacy? And that lady was so unprepared, didn't know what was hitting her. Like, what'd you think they were going to say? And you're getting asked all these questions. And then when it came down, do you find your station or whatever biased? And she's like, yeah, I think it's pretty good. And then he's like, well, why is there 87 Democrats and 0 Republicans? What? And then you come to find the stuff that I don't personally watch PBS. I don't listen to that broadcast on radio, probably for good reason. From what I understand, there's all kind of stuff. Drag queens reading stories to kids, and they're constantly preaching they say far right all the time, but they don't say nothing about the far left. And it's obviously one-sided, Democrat related, and they're brainwashing our kids. This sounds like, see, now you want to get all conspiratory on me. Like, this is, in my opinion, they're putting out all this stuff for our children to see. Drag queens reading books, and they talk about transgender stuff, all kind of stuff. This stuff that the woke shit we're trying to get away from. So if they're sitting there putting this programming in front of our kids and they're seeing this every day, I mean, kids are easily they're malleable. You mold children. You are supposed to raise them, teach them right from wrong, and help them live a better life and do these kinds of things. And pretty much that's what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is brainwash our children, as they were doing with immigrants. They want the immigrants to come in so they can eventually vote Democrat so they can stay in power. That's the whole reasoning, the whole reason the Democrats would allow all them illegals across the border. And so eventually they could vote Democrat because they'll be, oh, the Democrats are the ones that let us live here. They're the ones that gave us Medicaid. And all this crap. This is what they're doing with the TV show. They're sitting there and our kids are watching this shit and it becomes okay. Oh, mommy, let me watch the weird person dressed up with makeup on, reading me a story. Like, get the fuck out. Get out of here. I don't want to see it. I'm so happy I never let my kids watch PBS and all that. I took them to Sesame Street Live once. I mean, that was entertaining, but you know, it wasn't all political and nonsense as this is. So pretty much they had a big hearing. So talking about their funding, and we give them like 500 billion or 500 million or something like that every yearly or some shit. And apparently it's only like 1% of it's just another scam, fraud, money that they don't need. Listen, if you want to teach that stuff, I mean, it's not the best thing to do. It's not the right thing to do because it's honestly idiotic to be trying to show our kids this shit. But at the same time, you don't need the taxpayers' money. You want to do that, you do that shit on your own dime. I don't want to pay for some fucking drag queen to sit there reading a story to my kids about drag queens. You know, whatever happened to the stories, the Cat in the Hat and, you know, Clifford the Big Red Dog. What's that monkey's name? Curious George. You know, no, now it's Abonita and her drag queen and like what pantyhose she wants to wear today. Get the hell out of here. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of nonsense. So let's get into something different. You know, things have been crazy with the Democratic Party, as you know, if you have eyes or if you actually pay attention and want to know the truth, you would see the Democrats are reeling. They don't have a standout leader. They don't have a vision. They don't have anything. All to us here in the middle and the right, all we see is this crazy, violent left Democratic Party, have absolute no direction. They want to make everything about fighting and everything. They just don't want to work. They don't want to do their job. And that's just like, it's night and day. You look over at the Republicans and Donald Trump and them, and they're putting in the work. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And then you go to the other side and you see the Democrats, and it's like a middle school playground. You know, oh, but Donald Trump said this, or I said, like, it's ridiculous. Every single time somebody from that side does something wrong, they all come together, stick up for each other, and they try to talk around it. They try to take away the bigness. And then, you know, what's even more middle school is then they try to come in, well, Donald Trump said something like this 10 years ago, and it's sad. It's kind of funny. It really is. Like they just it's sad for them. They can't come up with anything original, and every time they do something wrong or they do something stupid, they got a Donald Trump this or Elon Musk that, or Republicans this. They never sit in there and take the responsibility for their own fuck ups. And that's a problem. As to where this administration we're watching, if they make a mistake, they let it know. They let it be known. They apologize. This shouldn't happen. Yes. They take full responsibility for their actions. as to where the Democrats take zero responsibility and try to pawn it off on, oh, so-and-so did it this, or so-and-so did that, or so-and-so. And it's just, things are getting crazy. I heard a lot of things. I heard heard of something about Donald Trump actually wants to release some proof that the 2020 election was rigged, that they cheated. And I mean, I'm kind of interested in that. I'm kind of interested in, we've seen some of the JFK files come out. We're still waiting on Epstein list. I know that's a big one people want to see, but that stuff's all besides the fact. I'm more interested in what's going on now. But yeah, they're acting a fool, man. It's absolutely insane. I'm gonna try to pull up another video because I want y'all to check this out.
Congresswoman from North Texas is causing controversy over recent comments she made about Governor Abbott. Fox's Stephen Dial explains.
This is what they be.
Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is being called out by other elected officials for her comments last Saturday at a human rights campaign event.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess.
Referring to Governor Greg Abbott as Hot Wheels.
Mhm.
Abbott was partially paralyzed when
Middle
a tree
school.
fell on him decades ago.
Hey, I'm going to move on.
Multiple Texas lawmakers took to social media to condemn Crockett for her remarks. Texas Senator John Cornyn saying, quote, Crockett's comments are disgraceful. Can you imagine if a Republican said something like this?
Oh, I can
It would be
imagine.
on the front page of the New York Times and all over CNN.
Exactly.
I spoke to Crockett Tuesday. She had this to say, quote, I said that he was a hot expletive mess, referencing his terrible policies. Never at any time did I reference his condition. I am even more appalled that the
Now, see, this is the start. This is exactly the start. At no point did she start anything saying like, I apologize if it came off this way. I'm sorry it wasn't intended to come off this way. It's literally, I said that he was a hot ass mess, referencing his terrible policies. Never at any time did I reference his condition. Like, it's all these walk around answers and never taking full responsibility for your actions. And then if you sit there and watch Jasmine Crockett before she was in office, she didn't act or talk the way she talks now. She talked like a little preppy girl that she is, and all polite, proper. Then she gets elected, and it's now it's for the real. It's the time for the real one to come out. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. People's real sides come out. Now all of a sudden she talks like she's a gangster. No, I mean, right, honey. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like having a wannabe gangster in office yelling and screaming. She's yelling profanities, and it's a disgrace. You're a public figure. You work for the public, and I just don't agree with the way she acts. Her and her fucking big ass eyelashes. Half the time it looks like it's hanging off her cheek. I don't know. Something's lopsided there. I think she's always trying to cover it with her hair. But come on. Why you gotta wear she never wore those big ass eyelashes before. You're telling me she got so comfortable in office that she's going all Tupac on us, and next thing you know, she'll be carrying a gat and having a bandana around her forehead. Like, come on. Like, I don't understand. Take responsibility. You shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said what I said. I wasn't intended to mean that. I apologize. I'm sorry. It shouldn't happen. Because you know what? This isn't the first time. She's been on camera talking about hitting Ted Cruz over the head. And last week she's on there. All I want for my birthday is to take Elon down, which is the 29th. So that's coming up. What's going to happen? And all we've been seeing is Tesla violence. She hasn't sat there. Nobody coming out saying, oh, this is not right. This is not okay. These Democrats, left wing, it's okay. It's okay because we're Democrats. The rules don't apply to us the same way. We rather cause confusion and take your mind off of things. And I'm telling you, you guys, it's sick. It's sick. They don't care about any of us. They could say they do all they want, but they haven't I haven't seen a damn ounce of it. And for anybody who's like, oh, he's you think I'm one way? No, I wasn't that way. The first Trump administration, I'm not gonna lie, I was all over Trump. I was like, I don't like how he talks. I don't like how he acts. I don't like these. I like what his vision is. I like that he wants to put the American people first. He wanted to drain the swamp, but he was stuck in quicksand his whole first administration with the Russian hoax and with everything else that he was dealing with. He couldn't even get his agenda going. He started to, he was getting things to a certain point, but he just didn't have enough time. That's why this administration, he came in, he knew what he wanted to do. He told the people what he wanted to do. He overwhelmingly won. And he's our president. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And everybody's trying to, all you far leftists are trying to make Elon out to be such a bad guy. This dude is the brightest minds in our time. And the team that he has around him are just as good. There is an interview out there with him and the team. I would really suggest you go watch that. It'll give you more of a clearer way. And if you pay attention to these interviews, because when you do any interviews with anybody over here in this administration, they're thinking clear. They don't have to search for an answer. They have real answers. And generally when you have real answers, it's because you're telling the truth. Now, when you go interview it, why do you think all the Democrats, these Democratic people won't go on live podcasts and shit unless it was strictly Democrat? Because they can't have nobody coming against them because they can't answer your questions. They'll walk around it. They'll come up with something to where they'll say a 10-minute fucking thing and they won't even touch the subject you asked them about because they don't know. All they do know is, hey, Elon's in there trying to take our money, because you know what's considered their money is all that fraud and waste money. That the fraud and waste money, that's where these people are getting these money. And it's ridiculous. And I hope that the American people that aren't on the page of Donald Trump's administration will soon be there. And I understand if you don't agree with everything Trump does, because, you know, that's your right. You shouldn't. But as far as believing this crazy Democratic far left lunatics, it's you know, hopefully I pray you see the light. I really do.
People that unequivocally support Trump, who is known for racially insensitive nicknames and mocking the uniquely abled, are outraged. Keep this energy up for all people, not just your political adversaries.
On March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down.
Crockett is also
And she's saying this stuff, people. She's saying this stuff in the midst of the biggest Tesla destruction campaign you've ever seen. He's an American. He's got an American company, and all these people work for in America. This is American jobs. This is and they're out there scratching Teslas. And I don't even think they know. I think they're paid. They got to be paid. They're setting fires. They're being dangerous, shooting weapons through the showroom floors and all this. And she still comes out and says something like that. If that's not incitement of violence, the thing is it's already been to such a violent, to such a violent point that you can't come on and say something like that, because these nut jobs out there, they'll listen. These people that hear things and they just believe the first thing they hear, or, you know, they got it in their head for some reason, it's the truth. They believe this shit and it's going to get somebody hurt. So this Jasmine Crockett has been in a spiral for a while, and it's just really seems like it's cranking up. It's
hot water for this comment she made about Elon Musk, who has been the target of protests and whose Tesla dealerships have been hit by vandals. Moments after the remark, Crockett gave a clarification, saying she did not mean violence towards Musk.
I'm saying that figuratively. Obviously, everything that I am promoting is nonviolent. And so definitely
it doesn't matter that you say that.
To take that word literal in any way.
Those comments did not sit well with the U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who thinks Crockett should be censured by Congress.
Yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official, and so she needs to tread very carefully.
And I agree. I absolutely agree. She should definitely be tread very, very careful. I I don't know. It's a lot of responsibility to be in any form of leadership. Sorry about that. It's, you're in a high position. You are responsible for your constituents and all that, and you have a duty to not put these people in danger, because everything I've seen from Jasmine Crockett is just a crock of shit, and it's, I don't know, it's pathetic. And I really think that her constituents need to look long and hard and really do their deep, dark look into this and, replace her. She needs to be replaced. And that's just the truth. All right, moving on. This is a clip, as you see on the page. This is the Doge team. They had a exclusive interview. But I think I'm going to show you is the end.
Besides Elon, you're one of several billionaires here, co-founder of Airbnb, and you wanted to help out.
I bumped into Anthony and Elon probably back in February, and they told me something about a mine that was dealt with retirement, and they said they needed somebody to help out to fix retirement in the government. I love the challenge, so I jumped on board, and it turns out there is actually a mine in Pennsylvania that houses every paper document for the retirement process in the government. Now, picture this.
I didn't know that.
This giant cave has 22,000 filing cabinets, stacked 10 high, to house 400 million pieces of paper. It's a process that started in the 1950s and largely hasn't changed in the last 70 years. And so as you dug into it, we found retirement cases that had so much paper, they had to fit it on a shipping pallet. So the process takes many months, and we're going to make it just many days.
Will it be digitized, or how?
Absolutely. So this will be an online digital process that will take just a few days at most. And I really think, it's an injustice to civil servants who are subjected to these processes that are older than the age of half the people watching your show tonight. So we really believe that the government can have an Apple Store-like experience.
Now that just shows you how outdated the U.S. government is. Why is all the retirement process all them documents and pages? We live in 2025 with the advanced technologies and a different way of doing it. There's no need for all that. There's no need for everything. Like, everything should be digital. It should be easier for the older people to do. It should be easier for somebody to help them do, rather than filling out a bunch of forms and all this paperwork and back and forth. And it could take you months or whatever to retire, when you can be, like you said, 3 days, you should be able to retire. It's waste. We're paying people to do these things. And this is why it's exciting to have Elon and his team in here. And even and another thing, Donald Trump even has Elon and his team looking into Signalgate. I'm lagging a little bit.
Beautifully designed, great user experience, modern systems.
Because right now it's by hand.
Yes, the retirement process is all by paper, literally with people carrying paper in manila envelopes into this gigantic mine.
So they can't retire more than a certain number every month.
Yes.
About 8,000 a month.
That's how the reason we discovered it was we were saying, like, well, let's encourage voluntary retirement. I said, well, the most they could do is 8,000 a month. And even under normal circumstances, it can take 6 to 9 months just to have your retirement paperwork processed, and they often get the calculations wrong.
Yeah.
They're like, well, why would it take so long to retire? And they're like, well, because of the mine. And you're like, what do you mean a mine? What's a mine got to do with retiring? And that's where we discovered that all the retirement stuff is still done by paper in a process that looks identical to what occurred in the 1950s. Like, if you took a snapshot of the mine when it first started in the 50s to today, it looks the same.
It's amazing. So how long do you think it'll take to turn over?
We're working as fast as we can. Probably next couple of months, we'll have this overhauled. And, I really think, again, like, why are we subjecting our federal workers to processes that they actually have to go through a training just to retire from the government.
What? How do
There's
you?
a whole
Why would you
training
have to
program that
train
people
to
have to go through
retire?
in order to retire? I think we can do better for them.
Aram Moganasi, Doge engineer. You go into these places, one of the more than a dozen engineers, first people to go into the agencies and view the computer data sets. Tell me what you're finding, and for people who don't understand how that process works, explain it for them.
Yeah, I'll say the first thing that got me really excited about Doge was learning basically the state of government computers. By some estimates, government IT costs about $100 billion, and it's funding systems that are over 50 years old in the case of something like Social Security or the IRS. So really critical systems are old. They cost a lot of money to maintain.
Exactly.
And they can be, the efforts to improve them are often very delayed. So I thought I'm a software engineer that maybe could make a difference here. And that's really what inspired me at a high level.
There's a lot of mystery about Social Security and a lot of words about it from, here's what Democrats have been saying about it.
It's absurd that Elon Musk is trying to eliminate billions of dollars from Social Security.
Elon Musk and President Trump have set their sights on cutting Social Security.
Their goal is clear.
You see this? This is the fear mongering that they're doing. They speak on something that they have no idea. And even at that, I believe they do have an idea, but the Democrats have nothing other than to try to scare people into being on their side, because they have not a goddamn thing. They don't have any kind of projection of where they're going. They don't stand for anything other than violence and lies and nonsense. And it's sick. But then you really think about it. Watch these interviews. These people are talking genuine. They're not fumbling their words. They're not. This is genuine feelings in general, how these people are like it. And our stuff is so outdated. Come on. We're supposed to be the best country in the world. And we're still using programs from 50 years ago where we got a cave with paperwork for retirees. What? Are you kidding me?
Destroy Social Security from within.
You're in the building. I mean, you're in the computers. What's happening there? What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't line up with my experience on the ground. And I'll say the two improvements that we're trying to make to Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protecting them from fraud that they experience every day on a routine basis.
Thank you.
And also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%?
That's right. Almost
40?
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say, they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of Doge, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of Doge, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true. Let's check back on this in the future.
So Washington Post, the Social Security Administration website crashed 4 times in 10 days this month because the servers were overloaded, blocking millions of retirees and disabled veterans from logging into their online accounts. Freaked people out. Is that going to change?
Yes, we're going to make sure that the website stays online.
You see, do you see the craziness? You know, I understand everybody has their political beliefs, but if you put politics aside and you really look into it, how often are we blessed with transparency in our government? how often do you get to see these things? You got Cash and Pam Bondi. They just took down one of the top 3 MS-13 gang members. Like the Trump administration and the team, they're all working together. They're all doing to bring down crime, get out violent offenders, make life here safer for you, me, and our kids. And I mean, that's what inevitably it comes down to is this is all for our children, and this woke shit that started happening a while back, and it started getting to this craziness where there's men in women's sports and men in a women's changing room and all this. Like, that is insanity. It's insane. Man or woman. And we're coming up against all these things, and the Democrats are fighting the Trump administration over everything strictly because they hate Trump. They hate what he is. They hate who he is. They don't like him, which is insane because before he started getting all political, he was the next best thing. Everybody liked him. It was it was no problem. Now all of a sudden he's trying to make legit positive changes in our country, and it's so insane.
This is happening all the time at scale.
And it's so amazing that people are acting the way they're acting about this, and like, give them time. Why don't you just give the administration some time and, Democrats come together, do what you're supposed to do. How about, care about your constituents? How about care about the American people instead of you got nobody in the, who do you got? Who do you got leading right now? You got AOC, Jasmine Crockett, which is a crock of shit. And then you got fucking dusty, musty, crusty Chuck Schumer and his old ass. I give him credit. He voted for the bill to pass for the spending bill, whatever. But but look how nasty you guys are because he did that. And I understand he said he wasn't going to. We need to hold out, blah, blah, blah. But he realizes that it would do nothing but hurt the country. It would do nothing but hurt the people. And, I'll give him props for that. But other than that, you guys are okay. You're like sharks, man. Blood in the water, whether it's your team or not, you guys will sit there and attack. I give you, man, you have some.
You're surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges that have weighed in. There's about 8 or 10 now of these cases that are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Right.
Are you surprised by that pushback?
Well, it's the DC Circuit is notorious for having a very far left bias. And when you look at the people close to some of these judges, where are they working? Oh, they're working at these NGOs. Oh, they're the ones getting this money.
Yeah.
Does that seem like a system that lacks corruption? It sounds like corruption to me.
Yeah.
Last thing, do you guys all see this as a patriotic duty? Is that really what this is about?
It's essential.
Right. I do, 100%. I was running 5 businesses in Houston, and I left that. I left great people to do this. And my wonderful wife said, go for it. And here I am. But I feel like this is me giving back to the country.
If we don't do this, we're sunk. The ship, unless this exercise is successful, the ship of America will sink. That's why we're doing it.
Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate the time today. And hopefully it took some of the myth and mystery out of.
So, yeah, I mean, this is what this is what's going on. Do you see the genuineness, though? Do you see you've met the Doge, some of the Doge members, some of the teammates? You got a guy that does the coding. Other guys do this, and this. They find the money. They got accountants. They got all kind of things. They're doing a whole overhaul. They're trying to save the taxpayers' money. They're trying to save us our hard-earned money. Us little guys that bust our ass till we're 65 and want to retire. And the Democrats keep, they're stealing our money. They're stealing our money. They're Social Security and Medicaid and blah, blah, blah. They're making it more efficient. Pretty much, you get down to the nitty-gritty, they're trying to make sure everything's updated. There's no reason for a fucking mine in some mountain somewhere holding everybody's retirement papers. Hello? Come on. We're in 2025. 2025. But then again, you guys are crazy because you're sitting there attacking a man who's pioneered the electric cars and made them absolutely amazing. He's sending people to space. He's got Neuralink, helping people, going to eventually help paraplegics walk again. But then you guys are over there, you rather support Miss Crockett shit, who with her crooked fucking eyelashes and her crooked eye and her trying to cover it all up, but she can sit there and assault the disabled and talk about hitting somebody over the head and taking Elon down. And I don't know. It's not American, people. It's demonic. It's truly demonic, you know. If this was a TV show, the Democrats, and we were on a TV show, Supernatural, yeah, Democrats would be demonic, and Dean and Sam would be coming to kick your ass. That's for sure. So yeah, you know, that's our show for this week. I appreciate everybody staying out. It's a little bit longer. It's a Freestyle Friday. Please remember, hit that like button. It definitely helps get the video out there. Try to stay to the end. I know this is a little bit of a long one, but you know, I'm getting better. I'm trying to work, get the information to you. I'm just a regular guy. I never was very political, and I don't know. It's just amazing. I've seen the transformation with Trump and what he's trying to do, and you know, I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate the honesty and the transparency, and somebody who's actually coming in and trying to do what they say they were going to do. And it's sad to see these judges like Boasberg, whatever the fuck his name is, the alien big-eyed freak. It's kind of funny that he ends up with the Signal case too, after having a case with the turning around the gang members. Like, this system's, they're crooked. The left Democrats are crooked. They're put there to try to slow the Trump team down. But listen, Pam Bondi ain't playing that shit. Donald Trump ain't playing that shit. Kash Patel ain't playing that shit. This whole Trump administration is tired, as is the American people, of this fucking bullshit that these lying ass media Democrats, left-wing lunatic assholes want to start. It's ridiculous. Grow the fuck up. Help our country. We're trying to make America great again. Anyway, I'm Mike Jones. This is my fellow Americans. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, comment. Come check out the next episode. We'll be coming out real soon. I appreciate, love y'all. Try to watch the video to the end. It definitely helps. And until next time, God bless America. God bless this country. God bless everybody. God bless even you Democrats. God bless y'all. Hopefully y'all can turn it around and get your head out of your ass. You know, if you're Crockett, you might lose a couple eyelashes, but I think you'll manage. And yeah, I'll catch you next time, people. Peace.
Try to play it, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, oh! You could try to play it, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep, move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change you, just say no, free me.